What's going on, everyone? So, the season is right around the corner. We're 2 months, month and a half away from the actual NBA season, and we got the official schedule. We also got the in-season tournament schedule and whatnot, as well as now the official schedule. I want to do a live stream later tonight, so look forward to that, diving into just all the details. We'll have a whole conversation about the season and whatnot, and kind of go over like stretches and key points and all that stuff. So look forward to that live stream later tonight. But the first 10 games, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about, because Lakers, it's to me, I think it's very important to kind of set the tone early on, right? Try to establish and get as many wins as you can early on, especially with the kind of first 10 games or so. I think that the Lakers genuinely could finish 8-2. I mean, realistically, I wouldn't be shocked if they went 10-0 with the first 10 games. But let's go over those 10 games and then we'll break it down and I'll give my points. And of course, I want to hear your thoughts and opinions. So let me know yours down in the comments. But the Lakers' first 10 games are the Golden State Warriors. So versus Golden State. So they'll be at home. Versus Minnesota. So again, at home. So the first two games are at home in crypto, right? The Sacramento Kings in Sacramento is the third game. Portland at home, but on a back-to-back. Good thing is, though, the Lakers don't leave California until at Minnesota, which would be their fifth game, right? So that's kind of good for them to not have all this travel and whatnot, to where they kind of just stay, because again, you're at home in Golden State, at home in Minnesota, you go to Sacramento, which is in California, and then you're at home against Portland in a back-to-back. So even though you have that back-to-back early on, that is one that I expect everyone to play because it'll be so early in the season. But also, you don't have the crazy travel, to where I think the Lakers will be able to kind of manage that and be okay there. But again, at Minnesota, at Memphis on Halloween. So the Lakers actually have a Halloween game. And then you go versus Miami, so back in LA, at Portland, right, on a back-to-back. So you're playing Portland back-to-back twice, right? Then you got San Antonio at home, and then at Atlanta. And that's their first, like, boom, long distance. So, they're pretty, outside of at Minnesota, at Memphis, right? They're pretty in this home realm, right? Or in California area, or, not too far, like you go into Portland, right? So like you're in this space to where, Lakers aren't going to have a ton of heavy travel until the season progresses, right? So to me, I think that these first 10 games in particular are going to be very important, very key, right? I think the Lakers win the opening night against Golden State at home. I think Luka's going to be ridiculous. I think, they're going to want to get that first win of the season. I think the Lakers, again, match up very well against Golden State, even in small ball lineups and stuff. I think DeAndre Ayton and that Luka pick-and-roll action is going to cause the Warriors some problems. I really like this kind of matchup opening night. Minnesota, you're in LA. That's going to be, kind of the revenge game. I think that's the one where it's like, hey, we need to show that the narrative is different. We need to show, obviously it's not the playoffs, but need to show that, like, hey, DeAndre Ayton is a huge factor in us, right? We're not the same team we were last year. We got center options. We got, a healthier Luka. We're at home, start 2-0 at home in crypto, I think is very important just to kind of establish. And then you got at Sacramento. I think the at Sacramento and then versus Portland on a back-to-back, right? At bare minimum, you have to win those 3 home games, have a good home record. But I think you win that Sacramento game as well. I know it's going to be the first game of a back-to-back and whatnot. But Sacramento, I don't think they're going to be very good this year. I think offensively, they have a ton of offense, but I just don't think they're going to be able to stop anybody. I think they're going to be what you saw last year. They just, they can score points, but they can't stop anybody, and they're not good enough offensively to outscore everybody because it's a lot of isolation guys, right? So I think if you're the Lakers, bare minimum, you start 4-0, right? So then this is where things start to get a little tough, right? Because you're at Minnesota, right? Let's say you win the one in crypto. Are you going to be able to beat them twice in a 5-game span? Possibly. I don't rule it out. But let's say, Minnesota is a loss. At Memphis, I think the Lakers have to win that game. right? I think you have to beat Memphis. Because otherwise, like, let's say you lose to Minnesota and you lose Memphis. Let's say you start 4-0, right? You lose to Minnesota, you lose to Memphis. Now, in my opinion, from there, you have to go and win your next 4, right? Which, again, you're versus Miami, so you're in LA, and then at Portland on the second of back-to-back. But the problem is you're playing Portland twice off of a back-to-back, and actually Portland's going to be pretty good. I don't think that they're going to be like, amazingly good, but I think they're going to be pretty good. And, let's say you win the home game in Portland, are you going to be able to win that second? If it wasn't back-to-backs, like if you weren't playing Portland twice off of back-to-backs, I'd probably be like, yeah, Lakers win both of those. But I can see Portland getting that second one. Lakers beat Miami and then lose to Portland, right? So let's say that they lose to Minnesota, they lose to Memphis, and let's say they lose that second Portland game. You have to beat San Antonio and you have to beat Atlanta, right? In my opinion. I think Atlanta's going to be pretty good. I don't know how good, but they have a lot of just like young, athletic, versatile defensive pieces that, I do think could, be tough for the Lakers, right? Like we saw, one of the problems that they had with Minnesota was just their athleticism, right? So are they going to be able to handle that with Atlanta in Atlanta? So worst case, I think the Lakers have to go 7-3, right? I think worst case. If you go 6-4 or something like that, it's just, I don't like it. Like obviously if you're above 500, but I just think, especially early on, and as the schedule gets tougher, which, like I said, we'll go more in depth later. I want to see the Lakers get off to a good start, set the tone, set the narrative. Now the conference are like, oh, Lakers are coming and all that stuff, right? And it kind of, and just have that kind of build and be that snowball effect as it starts going downhill to where now the Lakers, we're 20 games in and they're, 14-6, and then you're 30 games in and you're, whatever. You're going to have bad stretches. You're going to have stretches where you lose, 2-3 games. Like I'm hoping the Lakers, the key to me is like the Lakers don't lose, multiple games in a row. And if you do, it's like, randomly throughout the season. Right? It's like when you start going on those, like you lose, 4 out of 6 games. That really hurts you. Right? Like we can't have those stretches, right? Like you lose a game, right? It happens. It's fine. You gotta win that next one. Right? You gotta be that team that just doesn't lose multiple games in a row. You gotta be that team that's willing to, that like, again, there's gonna be a stretch or random, like, you look at the, like the Miami Portland game, like could that just be kind of like a trap area and you just lose both the games? Sure, right? Because you're playing, all these games. You have 2 back-to-backs literally in your first 10 games, right? So it's like, is there like something in that? But like, I'd rather play the back-to-backs early. Like if it's me, I'd rather, like, if let's say we have 9 back-to-backs, I'd love to play like 8 of them early on, get them out the way. So that way, as the season progresses, as guys start dealing with little, nagging stuff throughout the course of the season, as guys start to, adjust and really start to get into the rhythms and stuff, like you're not having to like, okay, well, do we play Luka both of these games? Do we play LeBron? Right. But so I'm okay with the Lakers having these 2 back-to-backs early on, but it's just, I just think the Lakers need to really set the tone early on. I think bare minimum 7-3. Ideally, in my opinion, I'd love to see 8-2 or better, right? I don't want to be like, oh, hey, only stop at 8-2. No, if they can go 10-0, go 10-0. But you're going to lose games over the course of the season. It happens, right? So, to me, if they can go 8-2, right? So say I really want them. The key to me is starting 4-0, right? In my opinion, you have to start 4-0. Beat Golden State, beat Minnesota, both at home, beat Sacramento in Sacramento, because you're still in California, and then beat Portland in LA, right? So you're basically your 4 California games to start, I want you to win, right? Because then from there, you go to at Minnesota, at Memphis, and those are the games that are going to be the tougher ones where now you're leaving California, now you're going to these places, you're going, from Minnesota to Memphis, right? Like, so though, like a game or 2 there, I'd like them to split, Minnesota and Memphis, right? So let's say that they lose to Minnesota, but they win against Memphis, right? Now you're 5-1. Beat Miami, right? Now you're 5-2, or sorry, 6-1. And then let's say you lose to Portland. Now you're 6-2. Beat San Antonio 7-2. Beat Atlanta 8-2. Right? Now you're 8-2 on the season. Now, obviously, maybe they lose to Memphis and beat Minnesota twice, right? Like, you never know, right? Like, interchange things, But at the end of the day, I when we get through that 10-game stretch and we evaluate the first 10 games, I want to see, okay, the Lakers, they're 8-2, they're looking good. The offense is there, they're cooking teams, the defense is there, and it's only going to get better, right? It's only going to progress, right? And more than anything, like, I'll be looking for, like, how do the Lakers play? How do they lose? How do they win? Right? Like, especially early on, because as the season progresses, regardless, even if the Lakers finish 5-5, I don't think it's like Chicken Little, the sky is falling. I don't think that's a good tone to set. Right? I don't think that's a good position for the Lakers to be in. But I do think that as the season progresses, they're going to get better. They're going to improve. The chemistry is going to get better, right? Guys are going to kind of get a feel. But the losses, at least early on, how are they losing? Are they just getting smacked? Is the defense just atrocious and the only way that they're winning is outscoring teams? Or is it just like, hey, it was a tight game, and Ja hit a game winner, right? Like, there's good losses and then there's bad losses, right? I mean, no loss is really a good loss, but you get the point, right? There's ways where it was like, hey, that was just a hard-fought game. You're on the road. Like, that was a 50-50 game. They just got you that time, right? Okay, rather than like, no, like, hey, Minnesota just bullied us, manhandled us, dominated us, and we lost and got just smoked, right? Like, that is a bad loss. That's like, hey, this doesn't bode well. Like, there's some things that are going to need to change. So we need to kind of see how the Lakers progress. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.